The Stage Door Show, celebrating the independent artist. Hosted by Dave Hondel.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Stage Door Show. This is Dave Hondel, and I am so excited tonight because I have one of my good friends on the show, Roosevelt George. Roosevelt, how are you?
I am wonderful, Dave. It is so good to be here. I'm excited. It's good to hear your voice, too, Dave.
I know it's been a long time. I have to give everybody kind of a 411 on the situation, how we met and everything. I've known Roosevelt for many, many years, and we met when I was doing music videos for Roosevelt. Matter of fact, I was honored to be able to do his music videos because he put his trust in me to do his music videos, and which I appreciate, and that kind of jump-started my career in music videos during that time frame. And Roosevelt is a Grammy-nominated songwriter, and he also had many songs that were part of a CD, DVD set called Gospel Mix, and many times made it to number 2 on the Billboard charts. Also part of Stellar Award nominated group James Greer and Company, and on several albums and different movies and so forth. So again, he put his trust in me to do some of his music videos, and which we did several of them. And anyway, so again, that's a little bit of a history about Roosevelt, and that's how we met. But again, I can't thank you enough for being on my show tonight, Roosevelt.
It is my pleasure, Dave. I'm excited to be here. Excited about your podcast, your show, and everything that you've accomplished in the years that you've been away from Minnesota. Such an amazing job with whatever you do, and I'm, as a friend, a buddy, and a business partner, I'm very proud of you, man, and I'm excited to speak with you tonight and your audience. And Dave and I, we met some time ago, and he was kind enough to take on my project. I was kind of a new artist in the beginning. I had been singing with, he mentioned James Greer and Company. I had been singing with his group for a number of years. Then I decided to branch out because I did a lot of songwriting for James Greer and Company. And I decided to do my own thing and just kind of put together some songs, sent it to a record label out of Houston, Texas, called Black Smoke Records. And the CEO of the record label, I guess he kind of liked what he heard, and he offered me a record deal, which kind of surprised me because I actually wanted a writing deal, but he offered me an artist deal where I would not only write, but I would sing and perform the music. So after that, I decided that I would go ahead and put together a CD. So I hired a producer, Freeman Darnell Davis out of Minneapolis, who's an amazing musician, songwriter, producer. And he's been nominated for numerous awards. He worked with the project, and we brought it to life. And we did a quick thing, and then after that, we reached out to Dave. I reached out to Dave, and I wanted to do a concept video, just to do a visual thing so people could be introduced to me as a new artist, and they would get to listen to the music and see what it is that I have to offer. A little bit further than Minnesota, the whole local scene. So started to do the national thing. And through that, we came up with some great concept videos. Dave does amazing work in terms of his vision, for concepts, and he's easy to work with. That's what I love the most. Very patient with me. I had an opportunity to come out to Florida and work with Dave. So, we've done a lot together, and we created some great music for the people. And through that, relationships were built. And I'm just thankful to know Dave Hondel. Good man.
Well, thank you, Roosevelt. And one of the things that I've always admired about you is not only your work, but the fact that, you're a spiritual man and you give a lot of encouraging words to people. And now during this pandemic and during this time, I was kind of hoping we could chat a little bit about just that, just about encouraging people out there because it's such a tough time. And, it's not only just the pandemic that's going on, but, many people are losing their jobs, their income. You know, a lot of people can't get their medicine. A lot of people can't get food. They're in food, you know, for they're in lines for the, you know, the food banks, and it's just such a rough time. And I think people are getting discouraged, and there's a lot of depression going on. There's a lot of just people kind of at the end of their rope, and I think it's, you know, it's tough to see that on TV, and I have to turn the TV off. I hate doing it because I want to see what's going on in the world, but at the same time, it's sad. You know, at every turn, there's somebody, you know, that can't afford to eat, can't afford to, you know, to feed their families, or, you know, they're losing, you know, their income. So, I mean, I don't know. It's no matter where it is, you know, it's and everywhere in the world, but it's, you know, I don't know. My wife keeps saying, you know, God is mad, you know, at the way people have been carrying themselves the last several years, and it's become kind of a materialistic society, and she thinks God is mad at all that, so he's kind of putting everybody in their place. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I just want to say that, you know, currently as we speak, I'm finishing up some work here, and I've been continuing to go to work. I work for apartment buildings, and I move around to about 7 buildings and work with a lot of people. I'm a people person, as you know, and I love working with people, helping people, and I love serving people. So it's a job where I'm able to serve and help people. Even when for many years, I worked as a foster parent. Did that for about 21 years. I may go back into it one of these days. I just had to take a break from the kids.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of work having people, you know, kids live in your home, and, you know, it's a lot of work, but it's a blessing to do it, and I enjoy doing it, every minute of it. So I was going to say, as far as the spiritual piece of things, I remember when I did foster care, and as a foster parent, we were not allowed to, speak about, we couldn't preach to our kids. Let me just say it like that. We weren't allowed to talk about God or Jesus, anything like that. And that was very difficult for me because of my background and where I come from. So to the best of my ability, I tried to just live my life in front of them so they could see, oh, this man's different. Or maybe this foster parent is different from previous foster parents that they may have had, you know, because a lot of the kids, they bounce from home to home to home. So they got a chance to just view my life. And so I lived my life accordingly, and I taught them to be, they were males, teenage boys. I taught them to be respectful of others. I taught them, you know, to always just believe in a higher power. But I didn't say, oh, well, you got to believe in Jesus or Allah. I just said, just believe in something. And so through that, I was careful, you know, as to how I encouraged them to believe in something. And even with this virus, this COVID-19 and Corona thingy, when I go on Facebook, I'm careful how I word things, because I've kind of gotten used to just kind of walking a thin line with people, because so many people believe differently. You know, like you were saying about your wife saying maybe God is angry. According to what I believe, that's one of my favorite terms. I always, when I'm talking to people about me and what I believe, I'll say, well, according to what I believe, and that's kind of just saying with all due respect to what you believe. You know what I mean?
Right.
I speak that way. And so I'll, you know, tell people that I believe, according to what I believe that God is really trying to get our attention, to let us know that, you know, we've strayed away from him. We've kind of given him the middle finger, as if to say, well, you know, thanks for the nice homes, thanks for the cars, thanks for keeping my 747 airplane from not falling out of the sky, thanks for my kids not dying with cancer, thank you, you know, for me having food to eat, but I don't need to praise you or pray to you or anything like that, you know. So I'm just going to do me. As long as I'm not sick and I'm not in a desperate situation, God, you won't be hearing from me. And so now, all of a sudden, we're faced with something that's extremely unusual, because this thing is not just in America, where we could say, well, hey, it's going on in the United States. Let's go to Europe. Let's go to Japan. You know, usually could just leave and avoid it. But in this situation, it's everywhere pretty much. So I believe that's an act of God, where God is saying, hey, I made you, I created you, I love you, but if I really want to, I can allow this to take you out, or I can get your attention. I'm going to tell you a quick little short story about something, because we kind of forget, God. I'm not preaching, I'm just sharing. We forget that, a lot of things we think we can do on our own, we really can't do on our own. And this has proven it, that we can't do everything on our own. I walk downtown, Minneapolis, Minnesota is where I live. I walk downtown, I take the train, I take the bus, and I see thousands of people all the time, normally. And to get on my bus to come to work, Dave, and it looks like a ghost town. Minneapolis is beautiful. Downtown is gorgeous. Right. You see the lights off in the buildings. You don't see any cars. People literally fight for parking downtown. So it's like a ghost town, because I'm catching buses as early as 4:35 in the morning. And there's no people. There's maybe 10 people on the bus. And it just freaks you out. She was like, oh, my God. So that has to be, I would say, not God making it happen, but I believe God is allowing it. It's kind of like stepping back, saying, you know what, okay, y'all don't want to listen to me. You don't want to give me any time. Then here, I tell you what, let me show you what could happen to you without me. So I'm done with that. But I just wanted to touch on that because according to what I believe that it's time that we turn back to God and give him our time. It ain't about you living your life like anyone else, the way anyone else lives their life. It's just that he wants us to do things decently in order. Watch how we treat people. The one thing, scripture that I do love, and if I can't think of what the scripture is, that the call numbers, but I remember it said something like, with loving kindness have I drawn thee. In other words, you draw people by being what? Kind to them. We're not kind. People are rude on the bus, in the post office, in Target. Everywhere you go, people are just rude and unfriendly. I'm sure it doesn't happen where you live, Dave, but it happens here a lot.
Yeah, it happens here too.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Pretty much.
I think Roosevelt, I think humans are humans regardless of where you are. And I think, really, truly, I believe that it's how you were raised. I was raised by a wonderful woman who taught me, how to treat people. And it's and one of the things that I was always taught, because my mom used to clean houses for a living, that's what she did. And so we always were taught to, treat the housekeeper as well as good as you would the CEO of the company. And so I've always done that my whole life. And I believe in that. And, because not only did my mom clean houses, but I used to clean houses with her. And I know what hard worker these people are, and what little you get out of it, for the most part, and so it's just people trying to work hard to put food on the table for their families, and I've always appreciated that and what they do. So that's something I always teach, and it kind of segues into my show when we teach indie artists how to treat other people. Like when you go into a casting call, how you treat the receptionist is how I'm going to judge you as a person. And if I'm going to cast you in my music video or my film, is how you treat the person that greets you at the door. That person that greets you at the door could be the next casting director. So you, as an artist, you have to make sure that you know what's important. It's not just about your talent. If people can't work with you as a person, they're not going to, it doesn't matter how talented you are, they're not going to want to work with you. That's always what I thought that my whole life.
That's good. Your mom, I met your mom, so she's a very sweet lady.
Thank you. She thinks the same of you. And honestly, I know it's been a lot of years, but I've never forgot our times that we've did the music videos and the churches and Minneapolis and downtown Minneapolis, and I miss those days. Those are like really the bright spots in my career. We're doing those music videos with you and with James and with Ann, and we just had such a great time doing those, and it's just I miss those days. I really do.
I do too.
Hopefully our lives will get back to normal sooner than later. I think it's going to be a long time, and even when we get back, it's not going to be the same, right? It's going to be much different. I think
it's going to be much different because just from hearing the news and the whole, it could be till it could be 2 years before things get back to normal. Depending on the vaccine and all this, whatever. Because just the scary part is that the virus could, even though it may it may peak and go down or whatever, however you say it, but it may still lurk in hiding places, because some people are known to get the flu in the summer, or whatever. It's just weird. So I don't know. They're still learning how this thing works, but it is quite scary and it's terrifying. I take every precaution that you can take, and I'll be honest with you, many days, I'll wake up having, just, I wouldn't say, just like, oh, God, just dreams of thinking I'm, thinking they're going to say I'm positive or something. because I'm around God, I haven't stopped working since, the whole thing started, however, for as far as back it started. I have worked. I've been on this job here for 4 years, and I have a perfect attendance. I've never missed a day of work, never called it sick, not even with what's going on right now. And so I feel great. I eat decently. I exercise. I try to take care of myself, whatever. I wear my mask everywhere. People look at me like I'm crazy sometimes because they don't have a mask. But I don't care what they think. I'm going to wear my mask,
That's right.
My gloves or whatever, and to take care of me. And even if in the event I were positive or something, God forbid, I don't want to infect someone else. So, we have to be mindful of those things and just watch how we care ourselves.
And it also, you had a premonition that something like this was going to happen. It really gave me chills, and my hair stood up on my arms when I read that. So talk about that a little bit, because that was, like, to me, it was profound.
Yeah, it was so weird. It was so weird and so spooky because last year, 2019, around about a week, maybe 2 weeks leading up to Thanksgiving time, I just remember, I remember it was that time because I was, prepping because I like to cook. I think I'm a chef. And so I just remember around that time, I had a dream. Like, we all have dreams, and dreams can be very weird and unusual, and dreams can just not make any sense, and sometimes they can make sense. And so in the dream, I think I was leaving to go to work in the dream, and then I got to my bus. Might have been the train, I don't know, I think it was the bus, and I come up on the bus, and you know how when you step up on the bus, when the door opens, I see the bus is packed, but it looked like it's packed like the way those trains are in New York, I guess, when people are standing, kind of standing room only, where everybody's holding on to the rail, but then all the seats are full, right? And the bus driver had on a facial mask like we were in today, and every single person on the bus had on a facial mask. Of course, I probably didn't have one because I was kind of walking into this in my dream. And so I was so terrified and so scared, afraid, but I was very confused because I had no knowledge of COVID-19 or coronavirus or anything. I don't think I knew anything back then. May have heard in the news, but wasn't something I would have taken that seriously or whatever, because it wasn't a pandemic. It had not reached America. So when I was in that dream, Dave, all those people on that bus had on masks, every single person, and it just looked like one of those movies you watch where there's a pandemic. That's what it looked like. And then as I'm on the bus, I had to stand because there was nowhere to sit. And as we're coming in the streets downtown, assuming it might have been Nicollet Mall or whatever street we were on, you know how you see people walking to go to work and just moving about. Every person, Dave, on each side of the bus, I'm just looking out the window, terrified. Every person you saw walking outside had on a mask. And this happened in November of 2019. I saw this in my dream, and it was just as vivid and clear as I was just like it was real life. Even though I know it was a dream, it seemed 100% real. And I have a really good friend of mine who I shared it with. So, when I decided to tell it, I was like, well, hey, I got my buddy. He can tell you. I told him the day after I had the dream. because it just freaked me out. I was shaking, I was trembling. I just couldn't get it out. I was thinking about it just constantly, like, oh God, this is so scary. What does that mean? What is this? What the heck is going on? And then for this to happen now, and now, they're saying everybody could be wearing masks. I was like, okay, I don't claim to be some psychic or some prophet or nothing like that, but I'm weird because, and I'm going to say weird in a good way, because I'm going to tell you one more thing that I had a vision of, and it happened, Dave, and it was terrifying. And I have the lady who was my witness. She passed away. She was from Atlanta. She moved here. Do you remember when Value Jet crashed in Everglades?
Oh yeah, definitely. I do remember that.
I saw that. I saw it before it happened.
Wow.
And I told the lady who passed away from Atlanta, I told her, and I promise you, not exaggerating the story one bit, I told her, I said, there's like this jet, I said that I think is in trouble. And she kept saying, she said, what? Well, don't say that because my daughter's flying right now. Don't say that. I said, well, no. I said, I don't know. I said, well, your daughter's in Atlanta. She said, Atlanta. Yes, I said, well, she's going to Memphis. I said, oh. I said, no, this is out kind of where, like, this is not, it's not Atlanta. It's not Memphis. I said, I didn't say Florida, but I said, it's kind of where the alligators be.
Right.
That's what I said to her. Sure did.
Well, yeah, what's so powerful about that is that in our lifetime, we have never seen everybody wearing a mask ever. I mean, we've never been through a huge pandemic like that. We've been through, things that kind of came over here like H1N1 and things like that, but it never was where everybody was quarantined and everybody had to wear a mask in order to be out in public. So for you to dream that's oh man, that's powerful. That's powerful.
See, what if I had called CNN or even if I had made a video footage of me, at that time, I'd probably be famous, Dave.
Yeah.
We'd have money.
That's right. You would be. Well, you could be. Yeah, we have a reality show about your psychic abilities.
Hello.
Could have monetized that, man.
Somewhat psychic or something, but we'll talk about that another time. So.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. It really is. That's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. What have you done anything with music? What do you have any projects on in the works that we can hear about shortly?
I'm doing a lot of writing right now. I've been writing a lot of, I normally do gospel and I will do some R&B music, but in the strangest way, I've been getting a lot of songs. When I hear music, I hear music in my head. Like I don't sit and play it with an instrument. I hear it. Like if I'm sitting at my desk at work, I'll just hear a melody or I hear words to a song. I can't explain why I hear it the way I do, but I do. And I've been getting songs that kind of encourage the masses, like the country, the nation, the world, those We Are the World type songs. I've been getting a lot of ideas like that lately. And maybe it's because we need it.
Yeah.
I just got a song, when I tell you I can't wait for you to hear this song that I wrote. And Dave, that's when I almost think, I don't know, maybe I don't know what I am, but the lyrics are just so not me. The lyrics they're not something I would ever write. It's not my personality to even speak that way. So that's why I see it almost as somewhat supernatural, not in a wicked way, but in a good way. Because I got a song that I just wrote last week called Random Questions. And that's not me. I don't write like that. And the lyrics are weird because, they're talking about, says, will I live in Europe soon? Or will I build my house on the moon? Lyrics like that.
Right.
Because in other words, it's saying I have questions about everything that's going on in the world, and I want to get away from it. So I'm asking, can somebody answer the question? Will I live here in America? Will I move away? Will I go to the moon? Where I'm going to go? That's kind of the songs I've been getting, and then songs about another song I just wrote when I called you about the lyric video. The song that says I appreciate life. And it talks about appreciating life more, the things that we take for granted. I've learned a lesson. Now I appreciate those things, the small things that we we didn't appreciate, like the green grass, or seeing the snow outside, or the sun and the moon, and then just things as simple as the times we could have hugged mama, our mother when we were walking away, our father. We didn't hug them because it felt weird or uncomfortable, whatever. We can do that because we're still alive as well. So I've been getting a lot of ideas, and I am to answer your question, working on something. Just trying to see if I want to use a full-fledged production team with Darnell and all those guys as usual, or if I just want to do an acoustic record. I've been really thinking about doing an acoustic CD because I really want people to listen to the lyrics. You know what I mean? And then those lyric videos, I just absolutely in love with them. So my mind is a little different this time around. So we'll see. And I look forward to collaborating with you again, hoping you'll have the availability with the weirdness, with the travel and the social distancing and stuff. Yeah. We can make it work. If not, then guess what? We'll just have to do it. I have to send you the music and you do a lyric video.
Yeah, I would be happy. It's funny, Roosevelt, because I always talk to the artists when I interview them. In fact, I interviewed Denise Williams the other night, and we're dropping that on Tuesday. But we talked about that on our talk, and we mentioned the evolution of music since when she started back in the 80s, and we talked about the evolution of music and how things have changed even in the last decade with music, with all the recording studios practically shutting down, and CDs are almost it's all streaming now, and there's so many things that have changed in music. But even one of the other things that have changed is really music videos and how people are doing music videos. There's still music videos out there, but again, there's not a lot of TV networks that are playing music videos like they were in the past. Everything's pretty much online and streaming. But the lyric video was actually one of the most popular platforms for getting music out there, is because I think people really do care about the lyrics, and I think the lyrics are really where people remember those lyrics, and I think to do lyric videos are really, I think, the thing that's happening right now currently. I think it's always evolving, but I think right now lyric videos are huge.
I was trying to watch a few of them real quickly, if I could interject here. Just to kind of see, how they do them, and I just kind of Googled, top 10 most viewed lyric videos, and I was blown away to know that some of these people have over 4 billion views. Billion.
Yeah.
I'm like, good Lord, and that's amazing to me. And then I was listening to the lyrics, some of these people, the way they write, and it made me feel good as a writer because, like I said, lyrics need to fascinate people and to captivate them and make them think. And they I think people have fun trying to figure out what you mean when you're telling a story with the lyrics, rather than just the typical predictable language that we use in a song. This generation, they're switching it up, and they're saying things that almost sound weird, doesn't make any sense, but if you really tune into it and pay attention, it blows you away. Like you're like, oh my God, that's what he meant, Yeah, so that's kind of how I'm writing, more or less now. Just where people will just want to tune in and just read the lyrics, see the lyrics, and be like, well, what did he mean right there? Maybe after they listen 10 times, they stream it 10 times, then they'll know what I meant. So, and they make sense. So that's one thing I do love with writing music. I always overanalyze and review my lyrics and make sure that they flow and that they make sense so that people, will get the message. So, yeah.
For sure. And I think that, like I said, the fact that you're writing music still and you're still doing projects, I mean, that just shows again, the longevity that somebody could have in their career if they do things the right way, and you definitely do things the right way. All right, we have to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with Roosevelt George. Did all of you catch our new amazing intro? Well, I can tell you that our new intros for this show were performed by voice actor Steve Zero and were recorded and mixed at Word Bubble Studios in New York. From audiobooks and commercials to e-learning and live events, visit stevezero.com for your sincere and strong narration partner today. Again, that's stevezarro.com, STEVEZARRO.com. Just amazing work. We also have a new weekly segment with our very own Ivy Hicks called Sound Bites with Ivy, where Ivy scours the internet for amazing indie artists, and she features them in 60-second segments on the Stage Door Instagram page, again, called Sound Bites with Ivy, so definitely be sure to check that out. And check out Ivy on her Instagram page, Ivy Hicks Official. Check it out. So when you, just real quick, being that we have a lot of artists that listen to our show, what kind of words of advice, I always ask people that have been in the business a long time, what words of advice do you have for our younger artists out there just getting started in the business from all of your experience that you've had in the past? What's one piece of advice you would give to those listeners out there?
Well, first and foremost, one of the most important things I think that all new and upcoming artists should know is that when you're creating music, composing music, and it's music that you've written, that you made up, that you came up with, be it playing an instrument or just writing lyrics, just the whole creating of the material, that you get it copywritten, that you get it legally copywritten, protected, so that no one can take your ideas, steal the music from you, or no one can claim what you created. That is extremely important. It's not a tedious process. They can Google anything nowadays, of course, and just look up how to copyright music, how to join a publishing company. Another thing is, too, from the writing that I've done, most people that listen to the songs that I write, they're fascinated by my lyrics, the lyrics that I give, because I always try and tell a story. Even in gospel music, try to tell a story the way country western writers write, like a Dolly Parton. I'm a huge fan of Dolly Parton's writing, and the way she tells a story, in a song. And that's the way I think. So lyrics are everything. And a hook in songwriters, a hook can make you an instant success and a millionaire. A great hook. A hook is everything, period. Because the lyrics are going to do what they're going to do, but the hook, that's the catchiest part. You remember when MC Hammer had a song called Can't Touch This? Everybody knows Can't Touch This. When you have a hit song with a hook that everybody knows and everybody remembers, all ages, Dave Hondel knows it. I know it, and I'm older than Dave. Dave's mom is older than me. My mom is probably older than Dave's mom. So when you get all those age, and then Dave's children, Jessica, is that her name? Please forgive me if it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Ooh, she might be listening. It's been a while, So, yeah. So when everybody knows the hook, you've got something. That's when So when you write songs, you can, to the writers, I'll say, when you're writing material, sometimes a song you're writing can sound great to you. You fall in love with your song, or maybe your girlfriend thinks it's a great song because it makes her cry or whatever. Okay, that's good and dandy. But if you're planning to have a national, international career where everybody, have a good day, everybody is, interested in your music and that people will stream your music, then the hook is crucial and it's important. And I believe any big-time artist, writer in the world would agree with me that hook is very, very important, that the hook, people remember your hook. If nothing else, they remember the hook.
It's funny you should mention when I first asked you real quick about the copywriting thing, when I asked you to give a piece of advice, when you started talking, I'm not even kidding you, word for word, what Denise Williams answered that same question the exact same way as you did, exact same way. So and you are right about the hook. And the other thing I think to keep relevant, if you look at all the artists right now doing a holiday album or a Christmas album, I mean, think about that. I mean, there's people that put out things years and years ago. They might have had a hit song, a secular song, whatever, but then they do a Christmas song, and that song lives for years and years and years and years, and it keeps that person relevant. So Christmas songs, do a Christmas album. For those listening, if you want to stay relevant, have a good hook and do a Christmas album.
A good hook and do a Christmas album. That is so true, because when you do great Christmas music with great hooks, even if you're covering someone else's material for Christmas, with the whole typing in the name of a song, if you do Please Come Home for Christmas, and your song is out there streaming, people can accidentally run up on your song, and then they may then want to, pull your name up on Facebook, and then they get familiar with you as an artist. There's just so many ways to be known and to get known. But always have your music copywritten, because that's the way that, you're going to get your money, you're going to get paid or whatever. And there's so many small little things that we don't have a nugget because we don't have time to cover it. But just make sure that your music is legally covered, so that you don't get yourself in trouble. Because people can come after you too if your song sounds similar to their song. They can sue you.
Exactly, and we see that a lot. I mean, now the other thing is, Roosevelt, speaking of that, because there's been a lot of, it happens all the time. Where is it the melody or the tune, or is it the words, or both, or what is the most important thing to do you copyright both the words and the melody both, or how does that work?
Oh yeah, you copyright the lyrics and the music, the entire song. Because some people will write the lyrics to a song, because I'm not old, but I'm older, and back in the day they would have it where you write the lyrics to a song. Like if the song was Mary Had a Little Lamb, you write it out, put it on paper, and mail it to yourself, and that would copyright it. How, I don't know, but I kind of do know.
But that's not the way anymore, right?
No, God, no. They have let's see, in Washington D.C. It's been a while, boy. It's been a
Library
while.
of Congress.
You want to go to the Library of Congress, yes, and then they have publishing companies, which would be ASCAP and I'm with the other one.
Oh, BMI?
Yeah. Of course, BMI. BMI have given me so many wonderful headaches, so how could I not remember my own publishing company? But BMI, yes, and ASCAP. And then you want to have good legal representation, too, if you can afford it. Because, like I say, if anything comes up, and then if you're co-writing with people, please cross the T's, dot the I's, make sure everything is in order with the co-writing when you're collaborating and sharing ideas with someone, You just want to be careful, because we've had some interesting moments in all these years of writing and working with people, because everybody's not honest, everybody's not fair. Some people are money hungry and they're greedy and they want it all, and so as they say in the hip hop industry, well, a lot of the industries were cutthroat, where people they'll get you. So, and I'm sure a lot of the artists, the ones that are listening, they're probably familiar with that by now, if they've been doing it for a while, or if they probably know. They don't now, they know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think Roosevelt. I think that and one of the things I've noticed too is I think the younger artists that are out there, I think because they kind of grew up in the streaming age and social media age, and they didn't know what it was like to actually have to go out and hustle their music out in either the streets or out in venues where you actually had to go perform live. So it's almost like, and I mean, it's no fault of their own. I mean, I think it's hard to, to work hard when you didn't really have to, because you didn't know any better. So unfortunately, some people now, or the kids now, are so in tune to doing things themselves on their own, computers, and just streaming their songs or whatever. They didn't really have to learn their kind of cut their teeth, so to speak, in the music business. And people like yourself and James Greer and Ann Nesby, Jamesia Bennett, and so many people that have kind of started out in the industry where you had to perform live, or you had to be a backup singer first, or you had to really kind of pay your dues, so to speak. And I think it's really changed and I think for the better for everybody, really. But what I mentioned yesterday, or one of my last podcasts, is it's streaming and it's great that you can put your music out that easily and just stream it. But the bad thing is that you can easily put your stuff out and stream it, because not only you can do it, but thousands of other people can do the same thing, and so you have that competition. So what's gonna make me want to go to your songs and stream it over the thousands of other people? What are you going to do to brand yourself to the point where people are going to want to go listen to your music, right? So branding has always been, to me, important, and with the new emerging artists. And so branding, I mean, what is your opinion on branding? Because I think that that's one of the most important things. It has to set you apart from something, right?
It does. With me, even I struggle with my name. People remember my name very easily. Most of all of my life, because my name is Roosevelt. They think of Roosevelt High School, President Roosevelt, whatever. But I always think it's an old name. So I'm going to change my legal name, but I want to change my artist name. If I change my name to hot sauce in Donald Trump's eyes.
Hey,
don't you think
that if you came, I would. I would. I'd buy it. I'd go right there, man. That already enticed me.
Right. So with branding, it's you have to be creative and weird, and if branding is like, to me, from my understanding, is like what a hook is, in a song. The whole logo thing, and the things about you that stand out that people will remember, or they'll be used to the way you do things, or they'll know that's you. That's got to be you. Look at Prince with the symbol, and the, when he changed his name from Prince to, the purple, and the artist formerly known as, all that stuff. All of those things are crucial. They're very important, and they make you stand out and make people remember who you are. Because like you just said, what's going to make somebody go and want to pull you up or listen to you when they have all these other choices? But I know personally, when I'm on my computer and I'm looking at things that are kind of unique and different and weird, and make me want to click on it and see what it is. Right. So those people are smart. Now there's, and like in radio, there's something called payola, where there's under the table money where people can pay people to make them look like they're being successful and famous. So if you got it like that, you got it like that. Personally, I like what's authentic and what's real. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, but I like to know if I got 100,000 views, I want to get 100,000 views on my own. I want to get 100,000 views because people appreciate my music as an artist. They really love the music. They love the lyrics. They love my creativity, and they want more of me. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel about being, a person of integrity and being honest with your audience and with people who are going to buy your music or stream your music, what have you. Yeah. So.
Well, we're running out of time here, unfortunately, but I wanted to, thank you. I know on short notice you jumped on the phone with me, so thank you so much. And just a pleasure to talk to you again, Roosevelt, and we'll definitely have to do it soon again, and and good luck with your music. And once we have some songs out there and your videos completed, let's have you back on again. We can talk about it.
That would be awesome, Dave. My pleasure. I enjoyed speaking with you and your audience, and everybody be safe. Until next time, I look forward to chatting with my buddy Dave.
Thank you so much, Roosevelt.